All right, problem number 1. When x equals 4 and y equals 2, by how much does the value of 5x squared minus 2y exceed the value of 5x squared minus 2y squared? What's a good way to attack this problem? What could we do? Good. Plug the number in. Do the substitution. So if I'm simplifying this guy, I'm plugging 4 in. Parentheses are always a good thing for x. And 2 in for y. And same thing for this one. 4 in for x. And 2 in for y. In order to simplify both of these now, what do I need to do? What do I need to use? PEMDAS, order of operations. So parentheses, there's nothing inside my parentheses that can be simplified. The next step is always exponents. We're going to do our powers, our squares. Starting on this side, 4 squared gives me what? 16. And 2 squared gives me 4. Do it over here too. 4 squared gives me 16, and in this one the 2 is not squared, so just 2 times 2. Next, multiplication and division from left to right. 5 times 16 gives me 80. And 2 times 4 gives me 2 times 4 gives me 8. Over here I get 80 also, but 2 times 2 gives me 4. This guy, when I do my subtraction as the final step, will simplify to 72. And this guy will simplify to 76. So now we want to answer the question. The question was, how much does one exceed the other by? So what do I do? Subtract. Find the difference. 76 minus 72. Final answer is 4. One is 4 larger than the other. Okay. So now just some basic substitution, evaluating the expression. Evaluate 20 minus x when x is equal to 6. 20 minus 6. Replace the variable with the number.
Can you just show your work with this?
No, but if something is wrong and you have work, it is easier for me to give you partial credit. So if you're doing everything in your head and I just see answers, if something's wrong, you're just going to miss all the points versus maybe 1 or 2 points in the problem because I can find where you made your mistake at. So ones like this, I mean, it's a one-step problem. You probably can do it in your head, but as it gets more difficult, you want to make sure you're writing out what you can to get that partial credit. 20 minus 6 gives me 14. Problem 2, evaluate the expression m plus 16 when m equals 13. What are we going to get? 29. It's going to be 13. Replace them. Plus 16. Final answer, 29. One more one-step problem. Evaluate 20 divided by b when b equals negative 5. Be careful with the negatives. That was one on the little pre-test. Had a few people make mistakes on. 20 divided by negative 5 is equal to negative. Questions there? Oh, you need one. I'm not sure. All right, problem number 4. Evaluate the expression 3 plus y squared when y equals 5. So now just getting a little more complicated. More than one step in them. Replace the y with the 5. According to the order of operations, what would I simplify first? Exponent. 5 squared gives me 25 plus 3. Final answer is 28. Good. Number 5, evaluate the expression 7c plus 3 all over c when c equals 2. Replace my c with a 2. Now when you see a big fraction like this, what part should you simplify first? We've got a lot of things happening in the numerator and denominator. Remember, we want to treat those like parentheses. We want to simplify the whole numerator, simplify the whole denominator, and then divide last. Guys, what are we using our calculators for? You're like staring very intently at that graph calculator. You're trying to learn this via the graphing calculator? No. You, Logan?
Yeah.
Speaking in the third person?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just take away the 2's.
You cannot. If that plus 3 wasn't there, yes, you could cancel them. But when you have addition or subtraction, you can't do that. It's a good question. All right, simplify the whole numerator first. 7 times 2, the multiplication piece would give me 14 plus 3. Denominator just is still 2. 14 plus 3 gives me 17 over 2. If it were me, I would just leave it like that. If you want to, you could get an exact answer here. 17 divided by 2 gives me 8.5 would also be acceptable. Do not round your answer, though. If that was something like 17 thirds, I would expect you to leave it like that because 17 thirds is not an exact decimal. You have to round that or something, and we just don't want to deal with that. So fractions are always acceptable. Decimals, as long as they're exact, it's okay. Next one, again, number 6. We've just got a big fraction, so we're going to simplify the numerator and denominator and then divide last. 5 times 3 on top. On the bottom, 3 plus 2. Numerator simplifies to what? 15. Denominator simplifies to 5. Perform your division. Final answer is 3. Questions, comments, concerns, evaluating, using order of operations. All right, next couple at the bottom here. This is what we practiced on Friday, translating a verbal English sentence into a math expression. Write an expression to represent the difference of 9 and a number n. What would you write? The difference of 9 and a number n. What expression would you write? Difference means subtraction. What would it look like? 9 minus n. Can I switch the order in subtraction and it mean the same thing? No. What's the other one where I'm not allowed to switch them? Division. Addition and multiplication is okay to switch. Subtraction and division are not commutative. The quotient of a number y and 22. What does the word quotient mean? Division. What's it going to look like? You can write it like that, or most of the time in algebra we're not going to see that division sign with the dot above and below. Okay. 18 less than a number c. Be careful with this one. Less than was that tricky little phrase we saw in the notes. What's it going to be? C minus 18. Good. C minus 18. Anytime you see less than, remember that goes at the end of your statement. Something is less than something else, we are taking it away.
Is there another one where you would switch it?
Off the top of my head, I can't think of one where you would switch it always. The way it's worded. Last one, the sum of 2 and the square of a number r. What could you write? The sum, what does sum mean? Addition. What's it going to look like? R squared. Could I write r squared plus 2? Would that mean the same thing? Yes. Questions on the front half of your study guide. All right, let's go back. Couple word problems. You are making candles for your friends. A mold for the candles costs $22.50, and wax to make one candle costs $5. Write an algebraic expression for the total cost of making X candles. Now, first of all, very specific here. It tells us what variable to use. If you do not use the appropriate variable, if you make up your own on quiz day, I will take a point on. So will air test if they tell you a variable to use, by the way. All right, what expression could we write that will tell us the total cost? What's going to cost us money for making candles? The mold, which is how much? $22.50. What else is going to cost us money?
Wax.
Wax per candle. Remember what the word per means? Multiplication each. Okay, so at some point you should have a 5 and an x multiplied together. Doesn't matter if these terms are switched or not. You can put a dot between them. You could put parentheses around the x if you want to. And then what are we going to do with these two values?
Plus.
Add them together. Both of them are cost, so that would give me my total cost. Part B, you make 8 candles. How much does it cost you? Plug it in. $22.50 plus 5 times 8 gives you, group operations, 5 times 8. 5 to 40. 62.50. And what do I label it? Dollars. Word problems, we want to see labels next to them, whatever they represent. Now, if you got stuck on part A for this one, writing the expression, remember we talked about in class when we did these, if the variable is throwing you for a loop, plug a number in. Imagine if you had to make 3 candles, how much it would cost you. You can probably figure out that math in your head and use that to work backwards. Okay, if I have 3 candles, multiply that by 5 and add on the $22.50. So in general, I'm taking my variable, multiplying it by 5 and adding $2.50 every time, or $22.50, and that tells you what your expression is going to look like. All right, number 12, you are ready to make a 640-mile car trip. In general, your car can drive 160 miles on 5 gallons of gasoline. How many gallons will you use for your trip? This is a unit problem, unit rate problem. I know my car can drive 160 miles on 5 gallons. What can I use that to calculate? The unit rate, which is, what's the label of the unit rate? Miles per gallon. So if I want to find miles per gallon, I do the miles divided by the gallons. So what does that give you? 160 divided by 5. 32 miles per gallon. How many gallons will I use for my trip? Well, it's a 640-mile trip, and I know I get 32 miles per gallon. What can I do with those two values?
You divide 640 by 32.
Yep. Take how many miles I have to go, divide it by how many miles per gallon I get. I'm going to be left with the gallons it's going to take. What does that give me? 20 gallons. Now, if you got an answer there of 2,000 gallons, would that make sense? No. Do not write down unreasonable answers for word problems. I am not trying to trick you in any way. The answer will not be 0.2, and the answer will not be 2,000. If you get answers like that, something's wrong in the math. Don't just write it down and move on. Check it and go back and look at your work. All right, so now from part A, I know it's going to take me 20 gallons. You started out with 4 gallons of gas in your tank, and gas is $2.29 per gallon. How much money will I spend on gas for my trip? Well, if I started out with 4 gallons in the tank, do I have to pay for those 4 gallons? No. So what am I going to do first? Subtract 4. So how many gallons of gas am I going to have to buy? 16. I have to buy 16 gallons, and it costs $2.29 per gallon. What am I going to do? Multiply 229 times 16. Tell me what you get. Again, we're going to label it with the dollar sign here. 36.64. Well, 229 per gallon. Low. Yeah. When I started driving, I sound old. 98 cents per gallon gas.
How much does candy drive?
I remember gas because I had to pay for my own gas in my car. All right, last problem for 13. I have two expressions. This is an error style question. We need to first evaluate both expressions in the little boxes and explain your steps. Now, when we say explain in math, it doesn't have to be full sentences. It can be phrases, bullet points, that sort of thing, but there needs to be some words describing your actions here. Starting with expression 1, I'm just going to write down the original problem. And this is just an order of operations problem. What would I do first? Parentheses. Then what would I do next? Exponent. 9 squared gives me 81. And then add them together. 91. As far as an explanation goes, it can be as easy as parentheses, exponents, and then addition were the 3 steps I completed. Right on those words, I'm just abbreviating there. Expression 2, same idea. Original problem. First step, what would you do? Multiplication would be first. 6 plus 8. Want to simplify that whole numerator. Then, for that, add the 6 and the 8. Then divide, which gives you 7 plus 10, which gives you 17. Again, quick explanations. The first thing you did to get to this step was you multiplied. Then you simplified the numerator. Then you divided. Then you added. Okay, again, just explaining your work step by step, what you did to get each of those lines. Okay, it doesn't have to be complete full sentences. You can even start out by saying you need to use a word of operations when you simplify each of these. Last, add parentheses to expression 2 so that it equals 20. So we want to insert somewhere in the original expression 2 up here, a parentheses, so that when we do simplify it, we get 20. So this might be a little guess and check with you. Take 1 minute, try it with your partner. If you know it, don't say it out loud. Okay? Try it. Go ahead. See where you can put a parentheses into expression 2 so that instead of 17, it will equal 20. I'm not going to call on you.
Yeah.
Don't say it out loud. Let other people have a chance to figure it out. Do we figure it out? Good. The parentheses should go around the 6 plus 4 here. So it would look like this. 6 plus 4 times 2 all over 2 plus 10. So that would be what you would actually put on the answer line. Now, if you want to see why that works, 6 plus 4 you would simplify first. Would be 10, because that's my parentheses. Then 10 times 2 gives you 20. 20 divided by 2 gives you 10. Plus 10 makes the final answer 20. But again, this is the answer that I was looking for. Where can you put the parentheses so that it will equal 20, and then what you see below is just kind of a check that that works. Trying to hear yourself on YouTube back there?
No, I stretched.
Questions about your study guide? You can expect your quiz to look very similar to this. It will look very similar to this. All right, you have homework tonight, and the last almost 20 minutes, you can get started on it. Everybody get out their Chromebook. Low Polaris up. Get out your Chromebook, load up Polaris. Is yours working? We will find out.
Can you just load one more?
Yeah, log into Schoology. Okay. So once you're in there, there's two ways to access your homework. Anytime there is a quiz, whether it's a quiz we're actually doing in class or just like a practice quiz as like a homework assignment, it's going to have this little green puzzle piece next to it. Now you probably will see yours like mine. I have two of them because I have two different class periods, but you should probably just have one. It says Algebra Quiz Review. Do you see that? You can click on it there, or you can find it if you go into first 9 weeks. Chapter 1 obviously is the only chapter there right now, and then it's right after section 1.3 is available there. Once you click on it, yours will look a little different than this. Some of you looks like you've already clicked into it, so that's awesome. It will tell you you can start a submission. How it's going to work, you have 3 attempts on this assignment. It is for process points. These are always for process points when it's review. 12 process points is what this one is out of. You get 3 attempts. So try it once. It's going to tell you which ones you got wrong. You can attempt it a second time and correct your mistakes. If you still are getting anything wrong, you can continue and do it a third time to get as many right. You will. It will give you the highest points you receive on any of the 3 attempts. So if one of them you get a 7, another you get a 10, another one you get 11. Overall, you'll get 11 out of 12 for the assignment process points. Okay. I would suggest on a piece of notebook paper writing your answers down as you're going, because if you do need to attempt it again, you don't want to have to redo all the work you already got right. You want to have to just be able to type it in again quickly. So just even a little piece of scratch paper as you're working through off to the side. But you can go ahead and get logged in. You will see that the deadline for this, it says 10:20 tomorrow, which means that's the minute this class starts. It is before you return to class tomorrow. Okay? Questions? Everybody's number one is different. I can have a look there.
Like, when it has ABC.
Yeah. You just type in the multiple choice answer. Yes. Okay. Other questions? Everybody got it? Okay, good. All right, you are on your own to work. We get out of here at 11:07 today. That's our normal schedule.